Most Vaughan homeowners spend thousands of dollars getting their home ready to list, and they never get that money back. Not because they didn't work hard, but because they updated the wrong things. I'm going to show you exactly what to update, what to skip, and what to never spend money on, based on the category your home is actually in. Hello everyone, my name is Ali and welcome back to the channel. I'm a real estate broker here in the city of Vaughan, and every year I help families buy, sell, and move up in this market. I track the trends, I watch what buyers and sellers are actually doing, and I bring that to you as straight and honest advice. If you find it useful, like, subscribe, and pass it along to anybody else who needs it. And if you're ready to make a move, book a quick 15-minute call with me directly. It's in the first link down in the description. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 condition categories every Vaughan seller needs to understand before they spend a single dollar getting their home ready to market. So you know exactly what to update, what to skip, and what's going to waste your money. Here's what happens all the time. A family is 12 to 18 months away from selling their home. They start watching YouTube and social media videos, chatting with their friends and neighbors, and they start getting ideas. And before they ever talk to a real estate agent, they've spent $30,000 to $50,000 on a renovation, whether it's a kitchen or anything else, and they barely get anything back at the sale. I've seen it more times than I can count. And almost always it happens because they didn't know what category their home was in before they started spending. Because here's the truth. What you should update and how much you should spend depends entirely on the condition of your home right now. Not on what your neighbor did and not what you saw on HGTV or some Instagram reel, but on your specific home in its current condition. So I've broken it down into 5 categories. Figure out which one you're in and you'll know exactly what to do next. And before I get into the categories, I want to flag something that might save you from a very expensive mistake right now. If you're ever thinking about spending money to get your home ready to sell, the single best thing you can do first is have an agent walk through the home with you. It's not to list it and it's not to sign anything. Just get a professional set of eyes on it before you spend a dollar. Because what looks like a problem to you might not matter to buyers, and what looks fine to you might be the first thing a buyer flags. That walkthrough is free. The renovation you didn't need, well, that isn't. Now let's get into the categories. The first category is what I call restoration required. This is the lowest condition level. I'm talking about a home where pretty much everything needs to be replaced. Not just dated finishes, but the mechanicals of the home that haven't been touched, like the roof, the HVAC, the AC, and that are way past their life. Systems that are actually failing. A home that honestly isn't fully livable in its current state. If your home is in this category, here's the most important thing I can tell you. Stop before you spend anything. And I mean that. Because here's what happens. You put $25,000, $50,000 into a new roof and a new furnace. And then the buyer comes in, sees the original kitchen, the original bathrooms, the original windows, and they price all of that in anyway. You didn't get your money back on the roof, or the AC, or the furnace. You just reduced what they were going to ask you for as a credit. The buyer who wants a restoration required home is usually an investor or a renovator, and they're going to gut it regardless of what you've done to it. What you should do instead is fix the obvious safety issues. Fix anything that has an active water damage, that's a health hazard, and clean it thoroughly. A clean, safe, honestly priced home, even in poor condition, sells. A poorly priced home in poor condition with a new roof that the buyer didn't ask for, that doesn't get you more money. That gets you the same money minus $25,000. Now here's where it gets interesting, because the next 2 categories are where I see the most money wasted. And they're also where the most money can be made if you do it right. The second category is concealable condition. And this is where actually most Vaughan families are. The home is livable. People can walk in and function there. But it's dated, the kitchen is original, the bathrooms are original, maybe the landscaping has gotten away from you as well. Maybe there's a furnace or a roof that's aging but hasn't failed just yet. This property needs a gut, but it's not uninhabitable. Here's what I want you to focus on in this category. Paint. Full stop. Nothing, and I mean nothing, gives you a better return per dollar in real estate than a fresh coat of paint in the right colors. And it makes dated feel clean, it makes small feel bigger, and it makes tired feel cared for. Combined with a thorough deep cleaning and decluttering, a freshly painted concealable condition home shows meaningfully better than an unpainted one. What I don't want you to do is fall into the countertop trap. I see this all the time. One spouse says we need a new countertop, the other resists, and eventually they spend $8,000 or $10,000 on a quartz counter in the kitchen and maybe the bathrooms, and it still has the original 1990s cabinetry and original appliances. You've spent $8,000, the buyer walks in, sees the old cabinets, and discounts the kitchen anyway. The new countertops in an old kitchen are not an updated kitchen. They're an expensive cosmetic patch that buyers see right through. If you're in the concealable condition, paint, clean, declutter, fix what's broken, that's where your money goes. And talk to an agent before you do anything else. The third category is surface shine. And this is my least favorite to deal with because it's the one that creates the most surprises at the inspection stage. Surface shine means the interior looks great. The kitchen has been updated, the bathrooms are done, it photographs beautifully, but the mechanicals haven't been touched. The furnace is old, the roof is at the end of its life, there's deferred maintenance behind all of the pretty finishes. And here's the problem. You've done a great job by making the buyer fall in love with your home. They come in, they get emotionally attached, they write an offer, and then comes the inspection. And suddenly there's $40,000 to $60,000 worth of work that wasn't obvious when they were admiring the kitchen. Now they want a credit or they're gonna walk away. And either way, you've lost the emotional premium you worked so hard to create. If your home is in the surface shine, you need to be proactive about this. Disclose the age of the mechanicals up front. Price a home in a way that accounts for what's aging or what needs replacing. Let buyers factor it in before they write an offer, not after they've gotten attached and they feel deceived by the inspection. A buyer who knows about the furnace going in will still pay a fair price. A buyer who finds out at inspection feels misled. And a buyer who feels misled either walks away or goes low. Now we're getting into the categories where the real opportunities live. If you're in one of these next two, and a lot of families in Vaughan are, this is where strategic decisions at the right time make a meaningful difference in what you walk away with. The fourth category is unpolished potential, and this is my favorite. When I walk into one of these homes, I can see it immediately. The layout is solid, the mechanicals are updated, roof, furnace, air conditioning, windows, they're all done at some point in the past couple of years. It's clean, it's well maintained, but it's a little dated. The kitchen might be 10 years old and so might be the bathrooms. But nothing is broken, nothing's neglected, it just hasn't been refreshed. And here's what buyers feel when they walk into a home like this. They feel the care. They can't always articulate it, but they feel the difference between a home that's been loved and maintained versus one that's been let go. That feeling is worth money. This is the category where strategic spending before you list has the highest upside. Fresh paint in the right colors, proper staging, it's either your own furniture laid out intentionally or brought in by a professional stager, which is what I recommend. Decluttering so the space feels open and considered. These are the homes that attract multiple offers in Vaughan's market even right now. Not because they're perfect, but because they feel right. And sellers in this category who do the best are the ones who see it as an economic decision, not an emotional one. They price it strategically with their agent. They don't try to squeeze every dollar based on what they paid for the renovations a few years ago. They understand the market, they trust the data, and they let the buyers compete. This is your climax moment as a seller, and the one you've been building toward if you've been maintaining your home properly all along. And the fifth and final category is the modern move-in. You know who you are. Your home looks great right now. The colors are current, the finishes are fresh, and the furniture is very well placed. If I walk in it today, I can photograph it tomorrow. These homes sell quickly, they sell at or above asking, and they attract serious buyers who are willing to pay a premium to walk in and not lift a finger. But here's the honest caution I give every modern move-in seller. Just because your home looks incredible doesn't mean you can price it at whatever you feel it's worth. The buyer sets the market, not your renovation receipts. And a modern move-in home that's overpriced will sit, because buyers who can afford premium finishes also know exactly what the market is paying for them. Price it correctly with data from an experienced agent. Let the presentation do its job and understand that some of what you put in over the years you will get back, but not all of it. And that's okay if you loved living in it. So now you know the 5 categories. And here's one thing I want you to take away from this video before you spend a single dollar getting your home ready to sell. The biggest mistake sellers make across all 5 categories is making spending decisions without knowing which category they're in. They watch renovation content, they talk to their friends, they look at what's sold down the street, and they make assumptions about what buyers want that aren't specific to their home or their neighborhood. A fresh set of professional eyes on your home before you spend anything is the highest leverage move you can make. And once again, not to list it and not to sign anything, just to understand what category you're in, what actually needs to be done, and what's going to be a big waste of money. That conversation is free, but the $30,000 renovation you didn't need isn't. If you're a family in Vaughan thinking about selling in the next 6 to 18 months and you want an honest walkthrough, book a quick 15-minute call with me. The link is down in the description. I'll tell you exactly what category your home is in, what I'd focus on, and what I'd skip. No pressure, no obligation. Just a straightforward conversation so you don't spend money where you don't need to. I hope this gave you a clearer picture of where your home sits and what to do next. Share this with another family you know who's thinking about selling, because I can promise you, most of them are already spending money on the wrong things. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Ali, helping Vaughan families make the right move.